All right. Okay, at this time, I'd like to call to order the November 20th, 2024 regular meeting of the Royal Oak Downtown Development Authority. First item, we will have public comment. Sir.
Hello, my name is Mike Zatkowski. I've been a resident of Royal Oak for 11 years now. I live in the downtown area. I'm here to just comment on the fact that on Washington Avenue between 5th Avenue and 6th Avenue, there are 12 decorative, or I don't know if they're decorative, but streetlights. 7 have been burned out for over a year. I know that because I got a dog. I started walking him in the mornings and the evenings, and those lights have been gone for all that time. I think it's a problem for a number of reasons. I think it doesn't make that street as safe as it should be. It can be dark, particularly on the corner at 5th, crossing Washington. There are a lot of jaywalkers there. Those lights would help to keep it safer. Second, it's speaking to actually just one of the store owners there. He mentions that the inset entrances on that block make it an inviting place to go and urinate at times. I have not witnessed that. I'm taking that for secondhand, so you can take it for what it's worth. My main concern really, oddly, is it just looks shabby. You know, we want to make our downtown inviting, make it a place that people want to visit, and it isn't. You know, that stretch is poorly lit, and the potential to have it as an inviting street is there. I don't understand why it would take so long to take care of that problem. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Mr. Holbrook.
So good afternoon. My name is Frank Hobrecht, and I'm here in response to 408 South Washington. In addition to our neighbor, the first block of South Washington on the west side, all the streetlights are out. Chipotle Grill, the first block, there's nothing. So I don't know why it is that difficult to keep the lights on. However, my joy in my life is the alley behind our building. And this is it right here. This is part of it. This is what we have to look at every single day. And we've looked at it for the last, 25 years that I've owned the building. I did a quick bookkeeping analysis. We've paid $1.1 million in property taxes in 25 years. I don't know if anybody else has joined me for that number, but I don't know why we have to have a dirt gravel alley behind our building. We've paid our taxes. Our neighbor pays twice as much in taxes. And this gentleman here, his building probably pays 5 times in the amount in property taxes. I don't know why we have to have a dirt gravel alley. If you go there right now, it's filled with water. And anybody coming up the back alley to go into Lily's Seafood Grill, maybe that's in a wheelchair or that's in a walker, can't get through this. This is what we have, dirt. And I don't know why we can't get a paved alley. It doesn't have to be concrete. It doesn't have to be pink or purple or green. It just needs to be paved. And we deserve a paved alley. So it's not ADA compatible. And I think we deserve, again, like as my neighbor said, we should have a higher standard. We should be doing a better job. We have the money, so please, let's do it. Thank you.
Thank you. Seeing nobody else for public comment, I will close public comment at this time. Moving on with the agenda, approval of the minutes for October 16, 2024. Oh, okay. We'll do that. Yeah, we have to do that first. Sorry about that.
No, that's okay.
Okay, it is now time for our informational meeting. Tim, summary, please.
Sure. As the memo indicates, The Public Act, Tax Increment Financing Act of 2018 amended the prior codes to require the DDA hold 2 informational meetings a year. It doesn't require a quorum of the board even. It requires no action. It simply indicates that you provide notice to the taxing jurisdictions, which we did, and that you hold the meeting. We have outlined in the memo some of the things that have occurred or are scheduled to occur as informational items. As I said, there's no action required. It's just that we hold it. And so we are holding the first one now, and we'll hold another one in the coming month. And then we'll have to do 2 more next year.
Okay. Any questions, comments? Okay, we'll close the informational meeting. And now move on to the regular agenda, approval of the minutes, October 16, 2024. Motion by Director Leclave, second by Director Keith. Any questions for staff? Corrections to the minutes? Seeing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? And that motion passes. Item number 4 is expense items for October 2024. I had a chance to look these over. Any questions for staff? Okay, seeing none, we will move on. The first business item. No, okay. The Hanukkah menorah lighting, request for funds.
I'll highlight it.
Okay.
You do have a memo from staff. The marketing committee did discuss the request from the Royal Oak Jewish Center. You have funded prior requests, 2020, 2021, 2022, and 2023. The dollar amounts have varied from $5,400 to $2,800 to $3,800 on a different annual basis. The committee, in reviewing the current request, is recommending that the DDA provide $5,000 in assistance, and that it be paid once the event, special event, is approved in the amount of 50%, with another 50% paid after the conclusion of the event. There is a suggested resolution. It mirrors prior resolutions, and as I said, the committee's recommending approval of that request.
Any questions?
Motion to approve the resolution.
I'll second.
Motion by Director Yazbek, second by, who was that? I'm sorry. Director Dunstan. Okay. Anything else on this matter? Seeing none, call for the vote. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Okay, we're going to go a little bit out of order here. We're going to move down to item D, 2024 Spooktacular 45-day wrap-up. Ms. Kemp?
Hi everybody, Shelley Kemp, President of the Royal Oak Chamber of Commerce. I'm here to present Spooktacular. This was the 41st annual, and it was, it was a beautiful day, so there's that. And we had, as I was telling somebody, we had more people, more businesses participate than I'm aware of ever having. There was almost 60. And it was a great event. It was similar to last year. We hired some people from the Detroit Circus to wander the streets, stay and hang out in Centennial Commons and do juggling and fire breathing and all of the fun stuff. So lots of people. I'm not usually freaked out about too many people in my vicinity, but there's a lot of people at that event. So, but no, I think it went really well and happy to do it. I don't know if you guys have any questions.
Any questions?
Good as always.
I'd say, yeah, that's my support is, it's very helpful.
Awesome.
It's a great way to bring the people, that's really the root, right, of bringing the people, the families, and everybody downtown. And I know we had a better weekend that weekend, which is great, and I just think
good.
it's great.
Yeah, with our social media, we tried to, again, we did it last year too, but we tried to promote all the businesses downtown. Several of them were new businesses, if they were offering, a special that weekend or whatever. So that was on our social media. I included that in the packet that you guys got. So we were just, I know it's not always the best for all the businesses, but we were trying to promote the businesses a little bit.
Didn't know you had a celebrity appearance Wednesday from,
We did. Not only did she look like Wednesday, the attitude was perfect. I'm like, did someone coach you or are you just always like this? Because she was perfect. Yeah, there was a couple of good ones. We also had Ferris Bueller's Day Off family. It was the dad was Ferris Bueller in the vest from the float. The mom was oh my God, his best friend with the Red Wings jersey on, and the daughter that was about 1 maybe was the girlfriend in the white fringe. It was hilarious. Only a certain age group would understand who that was though. But yeah, it was fun.
Okay, anything else? If not, no action is needed here. We'll just accept the report.
Thanks, you guys.
Thank you.
Have a great, good, happy
Thank you,
Thanksgiving.
Shelley.
Bye.
Thank you.
Okay, item 5B, Fifth Street Improvement, Final Concept Design. Mr. Twing.
What you do have in front of you this evening is a revised final concept that was presented to the Infrastructure Committee, which did include 3 members of the City Commission on the committee as part of this project. At the last meeting of the committee on November 4th, only Commissioner Herzog was in attendance with other committee members. The committee unanimously recommended revisions to the concept that was presented to them in terms of eliminating all synthetic turf and use regular sod. It was also discussed that the boardwalk have alternatives when it gets to the bidding stage of either using wood, composite, or a stamped concrete pattern that mirrored a boardwalk design. Fleece and Vanderbrook did make revisions, and I've attached those revisions to address that issue. So you'll see on the concept that it's no longer labeled synthetic turf, it's sod instead, and so on. Based on that, the committee is recommending approval of the concept design and that it be forwarded to the City Commission for their review and approval, because the street is technically owned by the city, and any improvements that the DDA want to make would also need the Commission's blessing on this particular item or project. And should the City Commission approve it, the resolution calls for the staff to direct Fleece and Vanderbrook to start completion of the construction documents pursuant to the contract. If you pass this resolution, the next step would be for the concept to go to the City Commission, get their blessing on the concept. Once that's done, assuming they approve it, excuse me, Fleece and Vanderbrook, once they get the construction documents done, excuse me again, we'll just verify that they're consistent, and then we'll actually solicit bids, and you'll have an opportunity to review and approve the bids for the various segments of the project, meaning you could do from Washington to Center, or you could do from Washington to Lafayette. It'll be bid in segments, so you can decide what to do, which segment not to do, depending on the costs and funding you want to allocate. The next item on the agenda is related to this project that we can talk about in a minute. Maybe Daniel will have some comments on as well. So that's kind of the steps that we would go forward from here. And when the bids come back, as occurred with the Centennial Commons, if the bids are significantly high in one particular component of the project, you can value engineer it and remove certain items or reduce certain items as long as we address it in that fashion. So you're going to have another opportunity to look at this in its final design stage before you enter into a contract for construction. So this resolution doesn't commit you beyond the concept at this point.
Mr. Dunstan.
I'll move the resolution.
Motion by Director Dunstan, second by Director Leclave. Any questions for staff? Mr. Dubuck first.
So where we stand now, where does this put us on timeline? Are we looking like we might be able to get bids and break ground next season?
That's a good question because some of it's out of staff's control. Obviously, this still has to get to the city commission. It'll probably not get there until the second meeting in December. Then Gleason Vanderbroek's going to have to finish the construction documents, prepare the bid documents, and distribute those. So depending on how fast that can get done, we're hoping that we'll get a bid in time for you to consider it for a spring construction of some part of it. That's our goal.
So still in the realm of possibility that we could be moving on this in the spring.
We're hoping.
What the heck? I have the agenda open.
It's talking back to me.
That was weird. Are we sponsoring our agenda now? No, that's okay, great. I just wanted to see whatever we can do to keep things moving forward, but I'm glad we finally got to a resolution on design, and then we can start the wrangling over materials.
Director Von Staden.
I would just like the opportunity to, is this on? Okay, now it's on. To reiterate that I believe that the drawings that have been done by Fleiss and Vanderbrink are substandard, and that the city should have standards for the standard of care, the standard of care and for the deliverables that we buy from our vendors. These drawings are inconsistent. They lack detail in terms of annotation. I am in this business, and I don't believe that these drawings are consistent with the type of service that we have bought from this vendor, and that our standards should be higher. I made a comment to this point earlier, and I just want to reiterate it since I may not have an opportunity to do so again.
Thank you. Anybody else?
Yeah, now,
Mr. Yasmic.
I'd just like to add that to get to this point, we essentially set aside some of the finishing elements, or such as a platform or a stage or some lighting or seating elements, just to move it forward to this point. And Tim, at what point would we then consider, if we get it back, everything looks good, at that time would we have a discussion about some of the detail items?
Well, I think as far as the stage goes, there are locational items for platforms or stages, depending on the bid when it comes back. I think at any point in the future you determine you want to add a platform or a stage, you can. It doesn't necessarily need to be done when we do the underground work and the at-grade work. You can add it later. In terms of the lighting, I think the lighting locations are based on the particular design that was provided. And so it'll go forward a little bit with that design that's in there, with string lights with the ring lights, if you saw those in the packet. That's what will probably get spec'd and put out. If there's a change, it may change the number of fixtures. But that's what's going to go forward. But I think the intent is to add the raised platforms or staging at a different location. And I mean, it could be you add huts for pop-ups at some point. Anything you can just add to it, you can add at any point in the future.
Okay. I mean, this is, I guess from when I started talking, this is the future. I could make a motion, you know, pursue it now, but I won't because that'll delay things. But I say it only because I think that we're spending a lot of money here. We have to be committed to the concept, fully invested in this being an activated space to draw people to the downtown. And unless and I think as a board, we have to make sure we're mindful of the fact that we have to allocate some money to activate this. It's not a park. It's got to be interesting to the Royal Oak residents, and the only way to accomplish that is to have activation, to have entertainment, to have activity going on. So I just want to make sure that we all think about how important that component is. But we can discuss it at a future time.
Yeah, I'll just use by example. There was no plans in Centennial Commons for an ice rink. Okay, it was not intended. It was originally designed as a passive area without a lot of activity, and so there have been elements added to Centennial Commons, that being one of them. So you can add as you go in the future and figure out what fits best and what you should program here. I think that was the intent of the committee and the recommendation. You got anything to add?
Again, this is the foundation of the project. And so you're moving forward on what is the base of being able to build on it in the future with fire pits or platforms or stages or shade sails, or the sky is the limit. And so this is the base, and then from there you'll do the furnishings and the add-ons, and you can take 1 extra year to do that. You can take 4 extra years to do that, and then from there, obviously we're going to want to activate this. And just as a devil's advocate, is this an improvement on what is currently just an empty street with some cinder blocks and a street patio? And I think many would say that this is an improvement and a step towards kind of transforming this whole corridor that is kind of key to our retail scene.
Go ahead.
Yeah, to kind of talk about both items here in terms of the design and the way Tony's talking about in the activation. And owner's project requirements is sometimes very helpful within the construction world, right? And putting out our owner's project requirements of outlining some of the ways we're going to activate it, some of the intentions. I think that would be a very handy thing to go with the construction set, right? Of like, hey, what's our plan? What are we really thinking about? And what can we, let's put it in writing, right? So that we have something that we can commit to, something that we can fall back on, and something that we can, it doesn't mean it has to be concrete, right? But it at least can show revisions of, hey, we want to activate it by X, Y, and Z. We want to make sure that we don't have water, right? That was one that we were able to snuff out, right? Which is great, we did. But I think as we get into the construction drawings, I think an owner's project requirements would be a very beneficial tool for us to be able to fall back on to say, this is why we did it, this is what we're doing, and give us a nice paper trail.
Yes.
Because there will be some significant infrastructural requirements and improvements in the rebuilding of this street, I would also seek to use that as an opportunity to address, if possible, this lighting issue on 5th and Washington. There must be some, I believe that there is an infrastructural issue with the conduit in the street, and that's why those street lamps don't work. And we're going to be tearing out a portion of this. I live right there, I know. We're going to be tearing out that intersection, and that if there is the opportunity to address the lighting at the conduit service, electrical service to those light poles at the same time, we should do that.
Thank you. Anybody else? Okay, we do have a, Daniel?
So just as it relates to that, that has been discussed the entire time as far as with this, is DPS indicated that part of the lighting issue is potentially related to the conduit under Fifth Street. And so much of the conversation, I believe you'll see it in the cost engineering that's provided, is replacing some of that conduit and then planning for the future of, do we need to add some more electrical elements to this area? Is that, you know, electronic wayfinding signs in the area? Is that not? And then staff is working on kind of wholesale the electrical grid sort of thing.
Thank you, Daniel.
Can I piggyback one
Yeah,
more
go
thing
ahead.
on this? You know, I mean, just because it has been an issue for a while, the lighting. Have we looked at a stopgap measure to try to supplement that lighting for the meantime? Like even using battery lighting of some sort? Is there a stopgap that we can look to
Well,
do?
the issue right now, and you're going to see a proposal in your December meeting, hopefully regarding hiring a firm to do an asset assessment of the lights. The problem with the lights is all the underground. It's all the lines. And some of it's the connection to the transformer boxes. But rather than hitting and missing it, the intent's to have a firm look at it, tell us which ones need to be done first and what needs to be done, rather than fixing this and creating another problem over there. So yes, it's being looked at to address, but it's not, we don't want to do it piecemeal.
I fully support that approach, right? That approach takes good logical time though. Is there something that would make sense of a way to deal with something? Because that's really not going to happen. We won't really deal with this until next year again, right? Because we're going to go through the assessment. We've got different things. Before you know it, we'll be light till 10 p.m. Is there a stopgap? Because right, I mean, it could be wrong, but I mean, essentially, we're going to miss this.
The
one.
electrician at DPS is looking at it, and he's addressing them as he can and what he can fix. But without knowing what's wrong with it, we really can't hire a major firm to come in and fix something. So, but yeah, DPS is looking at it. Engineering is looking at it, trying to come up with a plan for fixing it.
10-4.
Just to piggyback on that, they have done some work already as far as previously it didn't turn on at all. They've overrode some of that to where you'll notice there's a couple lights that are on throughout the entire day, and that's just to make sure that they work at night as well. So DPS does have it on their radar constantly.
Thank you. Okay, if there's no other discussion, I do have a motion on the table. And seeing no discussion, I will call for the vote then. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? And that motion passes. Okay. Placemaking and Public Spaces Program Agreement. Daniel, is it you?
Both of us?
Yeah,
So essentially, you'll recall, I want to say 2-3 months ago, I brought before you a simple resolution asking for support to apply for this grant. We were granted the money from the Oakland County Board of Commissioners to the tune of about $312,000. There's some strings on that money, meaning that $312,000 can't exceed 40% of the cost. Based on the approval of the concept plan, that shouldn't be an issue. We also have until September of 2026 to spend that money. This agreement is essentially putting in place that we will accept the money in 2 payments. So once approved and signed, they would invoice for 75%. That is still in conversation because if you'll note in the packet, there is a discrepancy in the numbers there. The numbers they provided is 70%, and then in parentheses it says 75%. So I am working with them to hopefully get that hammered out. However, the total package number is still the exact same. It is still $311,000. We still get the chunk of it in the front, and then once we've expended, I believe, 50% of the total budget of what 40% is, they will transfer the remaining 20 to 25%. With this comes additional staff hours, so I will have to provide, I want to say, quarterly reports to them beginning January 1st, basically stating where we are with the process, if we've spent any money so far towards the project. And then after is said and done, there's some requirements as far as reporting on the activation of the project and ensuring it's a transformative project, reporting on events that happen and foot traffic numbers to show that there is a quantitative aspect to this transformational project and measuring that it's meeting the outcomes that's meant to be attached to these ARPA dollars. Tim, anything that I missed? So I believe there's a suggested resolution that if the board is in favor to have the executive director execute this agreement, then the board would move on that.
Director Yazbek.
I'll make a motion to accept $312,000.
Second.
Well,
Motion by
it
Director
goes a little
Yazbek.
beyond that. You're committing to provide funds to build at least a portion of the project.
Which was the previous
Because there's no
resolution.
reason to take it and give it back. That's,
Can we use any of that money to pay Fleas and Vanderbrink?
what's that?
Can we use any of the money to pay the design firm for what they've done?
Any of the 312,000?
I'd have to look at the nitty-gritty of it, but I believe design is part of the process as well.
I don't know why we need to do that.
No, I just was wondering if that's
I mean, we've got a budget for the design firm.
right.
Build something else.
Just I'm thinking we might have other things we might have to pay for.
Yes.
I would just like to acknowledge that it's a lot of work. Congratulations and thank you, because it's a lot of work to put these grants together. It's a lot of work to track them and to administer them. And so thank you in advance for all the work that you're going to have to do now that you've received this.
This
So
is
thank
only
you.
grant one,
I
so
know. And congratulations, because it's a lot of money.
thank you. Always.
Okay, right now, currently, I think I have a motion on the table from Director Yazbek, second by Director Leclave. Any further discussion on this matter? Seeing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? And that motion passes. Any reports to bring forth? Daniel?
None at this time. Just
Okay.
a reminder that Small Business Saturday is November 30th, and the DDA's Buy One, Get One Downtown Dollars returns on December 1st. And then, of course, the holiday lighting in the park is this Friday, and folks should get out and enjoy the community and the businesses during the holiday season.
Thank you. Mr. Twing, anything?
Nothing.
Nothing. Motion by Director Leclave to adjourn. Supported by Director Dubuck.
I have a discussion item. As made clear by the taking an agenda item out of order today and then 142 pages of material to review, I think it's essential that we do everything we can to go back to the click on the agenda item procedure here.
Format.
This is, the format, whatever technological advancement we took advantage of to get to this point, we should reject that and go back to the old way.
Can we use some of the 312,000?
Can we use some of that 312 to get back to the old?
And you're not the only ones that have raised the issue with the other boards that we staff in terms of having one large PDF. My understanding is that on the 22nd, the powers that be that run the city's website and how you post agendas are switching everything over to eScribe, which is the system that you're currently viewing. But because then everything is switched over, we should be able to put the links back in. It's only this interim period, my understanding. I haven't had a board yet that we've done it with, but hopefully your December meeting we'll be able to go back and have some links versus one big PDF.
Beautiful.
But
We'll be a
I'm not
happier
making
DDA.
promises because I'm just using the system I'm told is available to me.
Okay, well, you got that in again. If there's nothing else, I will call for the vote to adjourn. You done? Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion passes and we are adjourned.